Welcome to podcast series for Menopause Reimagined. For generations, menopause has been described as the moment a woman loses something. She loses her youth, she loses her fertility, she loses the body she once knew. She enters a phase of symptoms to manage. But what if we've been telling only half the story? Because when I speak to women in midlife, I hear something much deeper than a list of symptoms. I hear women saying, I don't feel like myself anymore. My body has changed. I don't understand why things that worked for me before are no longer working. I've spent my whole life looking after everyone else. But who am I now? And perhaps that is the question we need to ask. Not only what is happening to my hormones, but also what is happening within me. What if menopause is not simply a chapter about what a woman is losing? What if it is also a chapter about what she's discovering? Welcome to Menopause Reimagined. I am Swati Madan. I'm a registered nutritionist and functional medicine practitioner. And for many years, I've worked with women to understand their health through a deeper lens, through nutrition, through lifestyle, through the science of the human body. But over time, I realized something. Women were not only coming to me because of symptoms. They were coming because they felt disconnected from themselves. They were looking for answers, but they were also looking for understanding. And that is where Menopause Reimagined was born. This podcast is a place where modern science meets timeless wisdom, where we explore menopause not as a biological transition, but as a human transition. A transition involving the body, the mind, identity, purpose, relationships, and the possibility of a new chapter. Let's start with a conversation we've inherited. For many years, menopause has often been framed through a medical lens. A woman reaches a certain age, hormones decline, symptoms appear, something needs to be fixed. Now, I want to be clear. The medical understanding of menopause is incredibly important. Women deserve healthcare. Women deserve diagnosis. Women deserve treatment options. Women deserve professionals who understand the impact hormonal changes can have on their health. But perhaps the conversation has become too narrow. Because a woman is not only her hormones levels. She's not only her symptoms. She's not only her age. She's a whole human being. And many women feel that something larger is happening during this transition. In my work with women, I've noticed a pattern. A woman may initially come because of weight changes, fatigue, poor sleep, hot flushes, anxiety, brain fog, night sweats, digestive changes, difficulty managing stress. These concerns are real. They deserve attention. But as we talk, another layer often appears. A woman who has spent decades being responsible for her family, responsible at work, responsible for everyone around her. She has been the organizer, the supporter, the person who keeps everything together. And suddenly she reaches a stage where her body is asking for something different, not because she has failed, not because she's done anything wrong, but because her biology has changed. And perhaps her life needs to change with it. I remember working with a woman who came to me feeling completely frustrated. She said, I don't understand what has happened to me. I used to be able to manage everything. She was someone who had always been capable. She had a busy life, she looked after others, she was disciplined with her own health. But suddenly her usual strategies were no longer giving her the same results. Her sleep had changed. Her energy had changed. Her body composition had changed. And what affected her most was not only the physical changes, it was the feeling that she had lost control. During our conversations, we shifted the question. Instead of asking, how do we get our old body back? We explored, how do we support the body we have now? How do we nourish differently? How do we build strength? How do we support recovery? How do we create space for this new phase? And I think this is one of the most important conversations we can have with women. Sometimes the body is not working against us. Sometimes it's just asking us to work with it differently. So what is happening biologically? Menopause is a significant transition in a woman's physiology. Changing levels of hormones, particularly estrogen and progesterone, influence multiple systems throughout the body. The brain, the bones, the muscles, the cardiovascular system, metabolism, sleep, the nervous system. That is why women can experience changes across many areas of health. Women may notice her sleep is different, her stress response feels different, her body composition has changed, her recovery has changed, her mood feels different, her energy has changed. So understanding this biology is empowering because knowledge replaces confusion. It allows women to make informed choices. So nutrition, movement, strength training, lifestyle changes, medical support where appropriate. These are all important parts of menopause care. Science tells us what is happening, and that question really matters. But science is not the only question. There's another question many women ask. What does this stage of life mean? This is where wisdom enters the conversation. Throughout history, many cultures have recognized that human life moves through different seasons: birth, growth, creation, responsibility, reflection, wisdom. And many traditional societies did not view aging as a decline. They often recognized the value of experience, perspective, discernment, the ability to guide others. The role of women did not become smaller, it just evolved. Now, this does not mean ancient traditions understood modern hormonal science. They didn't have today's medical knowledge, but they did understand something deeply human. Transition matters. And how do we interpret change matters. How do we relate this to ourselves matters. This is the foundation of Menopause Reimagined. Science and wisdom are not competing ideas. They answer different questions. Science asks, what is happening in my body? Wisdom asks, how do we navigate this change? Science gives us mechanisms. Wisdom gives us meaning. Science helps us understand symptoms. Wisdom helps us understand ourselves. And perhaps women need both. One thing I've learned both professionally and personally is that many women spend much of their life adapting to expectations, adapting to responsibilities, adapting to being needed. Many women are incredibly skilled at caring for others, but sometimes the question, what do I need, gets pushed into the background. Midlife can become a moment where the question returns, not as selfishness, as awareness, a chance to reconnect, a chance to reassess, a chance to decide what continues with me into the next chapter of my life, and what can I finally release at this stage. So Menopause Reimagined is not about creating fear around menopause. It's not about suggesting every experience has a hidden meaning. It's not about replacing medicine with ancient practices. It's just about creating a more complete conversation, one that respects evidence, one that respects women's lived experiences, one that sees women as a whole human being. In this podcast, we will explore the science of hormones, nutrition, metabolic health, strength, sleep, the nervous system. But we will also explore identity, purpose, confidence, ancient wisdom, cultural perspectives, the psychology of transformation. Because health is not only about adding years to life, it is also about adding life to those years. Although this conversation centers around women, menopause affects all of us. Partners experience it, families experience it, workplaces experience it, healthcare systems experience it. When we understand menopause better, we create better relationships. A partner can offer better support. A workplace can create better environments. Healthcare professionals can provide more complete care. and women can advocate for themselves with greater confidence. This is not only a women's health conversation, it's a human health conversation. My vision is simple: to create a new way of understanding menopause, a way that moves beyond fear, beyond shame, beyond simply managing symptoms, a way that combines science, wisdom, evidence, experience, knowledge, self-understanding. Because menopause is not the end of a woman's story. It may be the beginning of a different chapter, a chapter where she becomes stronger, more intentional, more connected, more herself. So why does menopause need reimagining? Because women deserve more than a list of symptoms. They deserve understanding. They deserve support. They deserve accurate information. They deserve a conversation that honors both their biology and their humanity. This is Menopause Reimagined, a journey through science, a journey through wisdom, a journey through transformation. Thank you for joining me. In the next episode, we'll talk more about science and wisdom, two languages for the same transition. We will explore how modern research and ancient perspectives can come together to help us understand menopause in a more complete way. Because perhaps the future of menopause care is not choosing between science and wisdom. Perhaps it is learning how they can speak to each other. Take care.